Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we have another palette review, and this one's very exciting because we actually have a brand new palette launch from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And you guys know Anastasia, they have made some iconic palettes over the years, like the Soft Glam, the Modern Renaissance, just iconic palettes that people like all over have purchased, have tried, and have loved in their collection. They went through a weird phase where I think their Norvina brand started pumping out a ton of palettes, and people just kind of, you know, took a step back from them for a minute. But lately they haven't been coming out with nearly as much. It's actually been really nice. They have their Norvina brand, which has their own stuff, and then the Anastasia brand themselves. The last palette they did was actually for holiday, and it was an eye and cheek palette, which I also reviewed. But I was really excited to see a new launch from them, and I just think they really kill it at their color stories. I think they're so good at that. So I loved the looks of this one. So this is the Nouveau palette from Anastasia. I'll go ahead and share. So it has this green packaging here. This is what the box looks like. It's a nice kind of, I don't know what material you would say. It kind of reminds me of like a beach bag material. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like something that's waterproof. Water would like slide right off of this rather than some of their felt ones, which I wasn't really a fan of. But yes, this is the Nouveau eyeshadow palette, eyeshadow and pressed pigment palette. And here is the inside. We have 12 shades and a nice mirror here. Again, I saw this color story and I immediately just was like, okay, I need this. I got instantly excited. I feel like there's some really fun neutrals in here, but also some fun colors. A lot of people are saying this looks like a fall palette, but I feel like it works for all seasons, especially when I actually got into the shades. It's not as deep as you would think. I think it works for anything. And then they have kind of a pop of like purple in here. So we will play with that one today too and see how you can incorporate it in the different looks, since it doesn't like match completely with like the colors, but I feel like it works with the color story. So anyways, I love this color story. I think it was so pretty and so unique. This does retail for $55 compared to the usual Anastasia palette pricing of $45, but this does have bigger pan sizes with less shades. But I feel like you're probably getting about the same amount of product, maybe even more in this new one. But yes, they did have like a price increase of like $10, but it is kind of a different shape. So a little bit about this one. It is described as an all-in-one palette for immediate effortless looks from on the go to ultra glam. It says 3 shades, Wisteria, Paloma, and Metro, are not for use near the eyes. So technically this one, Paloma, I'm surprised about that one. Metro, which is this matte. So those are probably more pressed pigments. They do have to say that for, I guess, like legal reasons, but I've used them on the eyes and they are fine. They just might have some staining, but they do just have to state that. But I really have no issues, and I'm using them for our look today. So I just wanted to point that out. Let's go ahead and get into these swatches real quick. So I'm going to swatch everything one by one so you can see the colors, because they really are stunning. The first one we have is called Wings, and I will say this shimmer formula seems super creamier than the rest of their eyeshadow palettes. Like the shimmers are insane in this one, which Anastasia already had good shimmers, but these are like next level. This is such a gorgeous, almost champagne-y green. It's a really nice bright one to lighten up like the inner corner. It's stunning. Next up we have Isle. Again, such a soft shimmer. This is a pretty gold. Gold and greens together are stunning. Next up we have a really nice bronze called Belle. I could see myself using this shade a lot. I love bronze on the lid. So that is Belle. Then we have the lavender in the palette, Wisteria. This is a very pigmented pastel lavender. Again, that one is one of the technically not eye-safe colors. Next we have this more pinky shimmer called Lily, which looks like this. We have another darker green in the palette called Hope, swatched here. Next we have Paloma, which is a nice cream, very opaque. We have this matte kind of pinky brown called Floor, a muted green called Liberty. The mattes, I will say, don't feel as super creamy as the shimmers did, but they still swatch really well. Next up, there's actually like this duochrome color called Peacock, so it shifts from like a blue to a purpley red. So that's kind of a fun element since basically most of the ones on the bottom are mattes. And then we have this more rustic kind of orangey red called Metro swatched here. And the last shade in the palette is actually a shimmer. Kind of disappointed about that. I really wish this was a dark matte brown. This one is Muse, which looks like this. Is everything swatched together. So I think this is a beautiful color story. I feel like it flows really well. It's also very unique and it swatches really nicely. So that's a look at the palette. I am going to do 2 looks today, including this one I have on. So let's get into that and see how this performs. So for this first look, let's go ahead and start with Wisteria, this lilac in the crease. I'm going to use a small tapered brush for that. My Sephora 24. That shade's a little dusty, but I'm just making sure I tap off the fallout. But it seems to be blending nice and giving us true to color look. Okay, next shade I'm going in with in the outer corner. I kind of started this already, but I was totally using the wrong brush because this is a shimmer, is the shade Muse. And I wanted more of like a flat brush, so I'm going to kind of just pat this on in the outer corner. So then we can go in with a more blending brush and blend out those edges there once we have the color down. I really wish this color was a matte instead of a shimmer. That would have made it way better for me. I feel like I always say this, but yeah, I don't like to use shimmers in these areas like outer corner and stuff, but it seems to be blending out okay, but it's still giving us a little bit of fallout to clean up. I'm going to tap into Metro a little bit, just barely, and gonna run this on the lower lash line a little, and we will clean this up with some concealer. But I wanted to add a little bit of this kind of reddish pink tone in there to go with our lid color. So for the lid, I'm wetting a little flat brush, and I'm going to use the Duochrome Peacock shade, and I'm going to smooth this along the lid. This one has a little bit of fun like red glitters in it to add a little extra something. I'm just putting a little bit of the Paloma cream shade just in the inner corner because I like to keep that area bright, and then I'll add it a little under the brows. I still got to do my brows for today, but I will add that little bit of highlight there. Let me put the rest of my makeup on and I'll be right back. I kind of want to try out the Wisteria shade as a blush. I saw Anastasia do that on Instagram and I thought it looked kind of cool. So I think we will try that, but I got to put my brows on, lashes, bronzer, all that. Okay, so I'm going to try out the lavender shade as a blush. We'll see how it goes. I did try out some new lashes today. They're a Glamnetic half lash, which I thought I would like a little bit more. Sometimes the full lashes are too long for my eyes. So I'm trying them out. I feel like they're pretty natural, but at least like this way you can still see the eye look because I do have smaller lid space. So I know this is kind of a smaller pan size, but we're gonna dip into this and tap off the excess and just kind of go ahead and apply this to the cheeks a little bit. I feel like on Instagram hers looked a lot more pink than mine is looking, because at first I thought, oh, there's a new cream blush shade, but no, I think it was just, yeah, I don't know, that's just not what I expected, I guess. Alright, so that's what it looks like. I feel like it looks a little weird on me. I'll throw up a picture of what she posted. It does not look the same at all. I don't know. So yeah, I don't love that as a blush. I'm going to neutralize it a little bit with Fleur. This one's a little bit more rosy. Okay, so that's a little bit better. That kind of fixed things up a bit. I absolutely love how the eyes came out. I'm experimenting with that lavender shade, kind of a fun look that you can incorporate with that one, since most of the palette is, honestly, it's a lot of greens. There is some fun pinks in there as well, but yeah, I think it looks really beautiful. It's very kind of dark, mysterious, smoky. I'll have everything linked on the face down below as well. Let's get into look number 2. Alright guys, now look number 2, I definitely want to play up some of these gorgeous greens and neutral browns. I'm going to go ahead and use Fleur in the crease. This color would go awesome too with like this lily shade, this gorgeous pink. I'm going to go ahead and take this matte green, which is Liberty, And this is gonna go in the outer corner. I wish that this had a little bit more color to it. It's more of like a medium tone. It's a nice matte for sure and a nice formula, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like I can't build a ton of depth here unless I go in with that shimmer. I'm also going to use that on my lower lash line. I am going to try taking just the tiniest amount of that on the brush, like barely anything of the Muse shade, and just adding that a little bit in the outer corner just to add just a tiny bit of depth without getting too much fallout, because if I pack too much on with a crease brush, it's just going to get all over the place. So I think that will just add a little something, what I'm going for here and what I need kind of for everyday looks. I'm wetting my brush here. I'm going to go in with the shade Hope and place this kind of in the middle, blending towards the outer. I'm going to wipe that off and do the same thing. Spray a little bit more. I'm just using MAC Fix Plus. You could use water too. And then we'll take the lighter green, which is Wings, in the inner portion to keep it bright. Ooh, that's gorgeous. I'm probably going to add some brown eyeliner because I love brown and greens together. And then I'll put the rest of my makeup on. I'll show you guys the final look with that. Alright guys, so fully testing out the palette, doing 2 looks, using a bunch of the colors. I wanted to just give kind of my first impression thoughts on this and if I would recommend it. First of all, the quality is excellent. I feel like their shimmers are just even more amped up than before. They're so creamy, so metallic on the eyes. Absolutely stunning shimmer formula. The mattes also performed great. I didn't really have any issues with irritation using those kind of pressed pigments. I really like the pigmentation that they give. They were easy to blend as well. So great there. I feel like we came up with 2 gorgeous looks. The only thing I really struggled with is using this Muse shade as our deep shade in the outer corner. For me and how I like to do my makeup, I've talked about this before, but I love a good dark matte brown or just any kind of darker matte shade to use for my outer corner to really deepen up, do a smoky eye. I love that on the lash line as well. And when it's a shimmer like this, it's super hard to kind of get the pigmentation you want and blend it out without creating a lot of fallout. Since it's a shimmer, it's more loose than a matte is. Then it just kind of gets all over the face. So that one was messy. But it does work for building up. It doesn't look too shimmery on the eyes, which is nice, but really I think they should have did this just as a pure brown matte, and I feel like that would have really completed the palette for me and made it absolutely perfect. It's the only thing that's really holding me back with this one. I feel like it could have been better as a matte. Just my preference. Let me know if you guys are the same way. I definitely need to experiment more with more all shimmer looks. Other than that, I really have no complaints. The formula is awesome. Everything else worked flawlessly. I did want to do just a couple like palette comparisons. I feel like this is a very unique color story on its own, but I just kind of randomly pulled some stuff from my collection. I also wanted to show you guys this. This is not the same colors whatsoever, but this was the last Anastasia palette that came out, the Primrose for holiday. And these have the same like pan sizes. So if you have Primrose, they're about the same pan sizes for the eyeshadows there. Okay, so this isn't really the same, but having like the purple in here just kind of reminded me a little bit of the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde, but obviously the Mercury Retrograde is not olive green toned at all. It's more minty greens, more blue green, but I just wanted to show them side by side. With all the greens in here, it reminded me a little bit of Urban Decay Wild Greens, and funny enough, I had the same issues with this palette where there wasn't a dark enough shade for the outer corner, and I feel like that's why a lot of people didn't like this one. So if that was an issue for you here, it's probably going to be an issue for you in this one as well. But this one, I feel like the shimmers just pop a lot more, the colors stand out, so I do like it better than the Urban Decay. The Urban Decay doesn't have a pop-up purple either, but Otherwise, the color story is a little similar in my opinion. I know this one is on sale, but I do prefer the Anastasia quality. I saw someone also mention the Mel Thompson palette, the Tiny Marvels. I don't know if you could still get this one. Sadly, Mel Thompson passed away, so I've been keeping this in my collection as just kind of a remembrance. She was such a light in the beauty community, and if you can still get this, I would totally get it. It's a gorgeous palette, but since it does have kind of a purple in there, and some of these similar greens, I thought I would show these next to each other. They are a little bit of a similar color story for sure. And then I also pulled my Sigma Cinderella palette as well to show side by side. These aren't really the same. The purple is definitely a lot brighter here, but this one does have a mixture of more blue tones. Not really as green as the Anastasia is, but just wanted to quickly throw in some of those. Let me know down below if there's any other palettes you think might be similar, but I always like to do a little side-by-side comparison. But that's kind of my thoughts on the Anastasia Nouveau palette. Let me know if you guys are picking this one up. It is available on Sephora, Ulta, and Anastasia. I will have it linked down below. You can grab these in store as well. But that is going to be it for this video today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to kind of experiment with this guy a little bit more and see what I can come up with, because I can't wait to use that Belle bronze shade and also this fun pink. I think that could be so fun. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.